I stand here tonight as Matt's best friend and best man. What an honor it is. But before I get to Matt, I'd like to thank two very special people. Without them, tonight wouldn't be possible. They've been incredible hosts. They were incredible parents to Matt and Lauren. And I'd just like to have you all raise your glasses and give a round of applause to Mrs. Tom and Carolyn O'Neill.
Cheers.
Mr. and Mrs. O'Neill, over the past few years, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you. It's obvious why Lauren is such an amazing and special person, having come from parents like you. And I'm just really happy that the Worsters and the O'Neills were able to join families today formally. And Lauren, we'll get to this more later, but I know it's not an easy name to take, Worster. O'Neill is so much friendlier than yours, but trust me, there's a lot of benefits to it. Okay, on to another recognition. They say you can really judge a man by the people that he surrounds himself with. And if those introductions were anything for the crowd, you guys would know that Matt has surrounded himself with some of the most fun-loving, crazy, and wild bunch of guys that anybody could ever dream of. But I ask you tonight to only look at us as the whole, because if you start looking at us individually, you might be raising an eyebrow or two. We all bring value to this friendship, and we've all given Matt a lot of examples of what not to do, and he's taken that in stride. So, on to Matt, my best friend. I love you, man. Just thought I'd get that meathead sentence out. Matt and I's love as brothers evolved over the years, and early on it was in our lives was a bit more primitive, shall I say. And I delivered love to Matt as an older brother through the sign of the fist. So, you know, I used to beat on Matt quite a bit, and I would never, and it was brutal. It made him a tough guy. And I'll never forget, we were at my grandparents' house in Amsterdam, and my grandma pulls me aside and she says, "Now, Jared, you know that every time you punch your brother, it puts a little black spot on Grandma's heart." and I said, "Oh my goodness. If I am hurting the most sweet and innocent and perfect woman in the world, I'm just the worst person ever." Well, as soon as we left that little sphere of trust in Amsterdam, I gave Matt a double whooping when we got back. So from then on, Amsterdam was his sanctuary and Plattsburgh remained his hell. So, when Matt and I were young, we always shared the same room, up through the time when we were about 13 years old. And at the time, I thought this was a little annoying, but now I look back on it and smile. So we shared the same room, and every night when the lights would go off, I would, you know, it'd be about 20 minutes, and like clockwork, I would hear, "Jared? What? Are you awake?" "I am now, bro." Anyway, he didn't want the monsters to get him, so he would soon fall asleep knowing that I was there protecting him. So anyhow, when we moved into our new house, my mom thought it was fitting that, you know, we get separate bedrooms. And for the first couple of years, you know, the lights would go out, and then I'd hear these little pitter-patters down the hallway. "Jared, are you awake?" "Yeah. Can I stay with you?" So Matt and I would sleep in the same room. And for those of you who might have had the opportunity to sleep with Matt Worster in the same room, you'll know that when the lights go out in Matt Worster's world, the Matt Worster Symphony just kicks off. And it's a mixture of a freight train and bullfrogs. So one of the things I always loved about my brother is how creative he was. And as a young man, as a kindergartner, Matt was known as a man who had his eye on solving real-world problems. And in Matt's kindergarten world, real-world problem was the fact that when he was sitting on the toilet, he couldn't reach the toilet paper. And so he invented the infamous toilet paper grabber. This toilet paper grabber was just a long broomstick with a piece of double-sided tape on the end of it. You could just reach out, grab the toilet paper, pull her back in, and give her away. Ingenious invention. Anyway, this toilet paper grabber had a unique attribute to it. And that unique attribute was a bell that was strapped around the center of that toilet paper grabber. And I'm like, Matt, what in the heck is up with this bell strapped around the center of this thing? Well, that's the fail-safe mechanism. The fail-safe mechanism? Yeah, because when the tape runs out, I gotta ring the bell. Call for mommy so she can come grab the toilet paper for me. Ring-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, mommy, toilet paper. Get the toilet paper. Anyway, so he's pretty genius. Last night, Matt shared with you some of his aspirations for when he was going to grow up. And I thought it was kind of odd that he left off the backside of that, so I'm going to fill in the blanks for you. For those of you who weren't here last night, Matt, when he was in 5th grade, outlined his aspirations for life. And this segues into how Matt met Lauren. When Matt grew up, he wanted to go to Harvard to be an electrician. And he told this joke last night. But the other side of that was that he wanted to drive, when he grew up, he wanted to own and drive a cherry red convertible so that he could cruise down the street and pick up all the chicks. Well, luckily, bro, you found a girl that didn't care about that cherry red convertible. She's just fine with that beat up Toyota Corolla. Midnight blue, it's purple. Don't kid yourself. So, that moves on into how I met Miss Lauren O'Neill. I was a senior when Matt was a freshman in college, and a lot of my family thought this was an amazing thing that I could take care of Matt when he got into college. In hindsight, he was the one taking care of his older brother most of the time. But anyway, I get this call on a Thursday night, and it's Matt. Hey, Jared. What's up, Matt? He's like, what you doing tomorrow night? I'm like, I don't know, it's Friday. He's like, Friday night, right? College? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, we're gonna party, right? I'm like, yeah, Matt. He's like, okay, well, I gotta ask you a favor. And I said, what's up? He's like, I met this girl in my dorm, and she's really, really cool, and I really want to impress her. So would it be okay if I brought a few of my friends over to your place tomorrow night before we all went to this party? I said, sure, that'd be fine, man. He's like, about 8:30? Sound good? I said, yeah, man, 8:30 is good. So at 8:29 and 30 seconds, Matt, Lauren, and the entire Lion Hall dorm showed up. And I'm still to this day trying to figure out what was so impressive about this dingy basement apartment with nothing, no attributes for it, and 3 meatheads living there. Lauren somehow found that very impressive. Lauren, for the better part of 8 years now, I've loved to get to know you. You are my sister, and I love you very much. There's nothing more that I can say. Lauren, you are #1. For those of you that didn't know, Lauren recently was awarded the #1 nurse at Georgetown Hospital.
Yeah! Woo!
Wow, what an honor. So, not only is Lauren #1 at Georgetown, she's #1 husband of Matt, and my #1 sister. When I firstly knew Lauren loved me, she was trying to talk to me one day, and you know, I'm sitting here spacing out like I always do, thinking about something. And all of a sudden, out of character, completely out of character, Jared, you're driving me crazy. And I'm thinking, you know, most people would take that as some kind of insult, but not me. Because if anybody knows me, you'll know that I've done one of 3 things to you. If you like me and know me, I've driven you crazy, I've hounded you to death, or I've really ticked you off at some point. So I knew at that moment that I had learned. Matt and Lauren have created an institution for themselves. It's very rare, and we all know this, that the 2 names are mentioned not in the same breath. You'll go down in history as some of the great couples like Siegfried and Roy, Homer and Marge Simpson, and Tom and Jerry. You are truly two peas in a pod. In one pod. Matt and Lauren, Matt once told me that, you know, they say it really takes 9 years to get to know somebody. And I still haven't quite figured out who this famous philosopher they is. But I hope by now you know Lauren, because I certainly know Lauren very well and love her very much. Matt, you look handsomer, you look sharper and happier than I've ever seen you. You're lighting up this room, and I'm so happy to be your brother. Lauren, you are glowing, astonishing, and beautiful, and I love you very much. After tonight is over and all the glitz and glam of this weekend has subsided and we've all made our way back, just know that you at least have each other, and I might be in there a little bit to drive crazy. Enjoy your trip to Hawaii. We all love you very much. Please give everybody some. Here. Now everybody, please enjoy the party. I know I will.